This is a claim to be able to come in alive, the mortal purgatory that cannot be left alive. There is no fence here, no sentinel, because it is located in a concentration camp in Siberia. A 500-kilometer radius of ice and snow is the biggest barrier to attempting to escape. Even if the fugitive is not killed by nature, the villagers around will not let them go either, because they offered a reward for every fugitive's head. However, it's in this desperate situation, 7 people still escaped from here, and all of this is related to Jack. He was originally a Polish technique, failure to achieve fame and achievement, wanted to be labeled as a spy for no reason. It was his wife who shared the same bed that reported him. In order to survive, wife had to sacrifice husband in exchange for peace. That's it. Jack is like a large number of similar prisoners, being imprisoned in Siberian concentration camps for 25 years of labor rehabilitation. Criminals carry out heavy mining work every day. He could even lose his life at any moment. However, all I got in exchange for was some vegetable leaf soup, plus unnamed dry food. In order to survive, some prisoners have to lie on the ground and grab to eat pigs, which are the same thing, but Jack's personality still maintains kindness. Seeing abandoned elderly prisoners, he gave the other party all the soup he had, but his behavior was met with ridicule from other prisoners. You in the hospital, Jack didn't think about it, because the other person's words change oneself. It's just the reality of the prison situation. Gave him a completely new understanding. Here, Jack met John, also from Poland. I learned from him the current situation of the concentration camp. I also have a rough understanding of the identity of the tattooed man. Prisons need people like this to suppress prisoners. That's why the men are the only ones who carry knives openly. A few days later, John told Jack he's brewing an escape plan, needs someone as kind as him. The premise is to wait until autumn. Before that, they need to collect food to ensure that we can get out of the ice and snow, but Jack has his own plan. To be precise, he's looking for a suitable candidate. Old Mountain, an American who doesn't fit in well, is one of them, because during a labor trip, they encountered a blizzard. Everyone is at a loss, watching constant companions freeze to death. It's Lao Shan, who disregards the danger of being shot by guards. Hard to guide everyone to hide in the forest. I only managed to avoid a disaster in the end. This skill for survival in the wild, just the ideal candidate in Jack's heart. When he told Lao Shan his idea, the other party agreed immediately. The reason is that Jack is very kind. With the addition of Lao Shan, Jack found John prepared to depart that night, but John did strongly disagree because of insufficient food, and now it's a storm period. It's impossible to survive at all. Just as 2 people were arguing, at some point the 2 men stood not far away and looked at them. At night, the other party threatened Jack to bring himself, otherwise we'll report it. Seeing the knife in the opponent's hand, Jack agreed without even thinking about it, because in the ice and snow, having a knife can solve many problems. That's it. 7 people escaped from the concentration camp under the cover of a snowstorm. But in such weather, there's no way to tell the direction. Jack used a tattooed man's knife to make a bark mask. Using this method, they managed to escape a disaster. The next day, Jack took the initiative to take out the food he brought with him, proposed for everyone to share resources. Only in this way can we ensure everyone's unity of mind. But it only took one night. Some companions were frozen to death alive, and this is just the beginning. Although escaping from the icy and snowy environment, the lack of food quickly became apparent. Even a worm. They are all delicious food in their mouths. To survive, they even snatched food from the mouths of wild wolves. The accompanying drinking water has also become a problem. Compared to hunger, without water, it's even more terrifying. Jack knows he can't sit here and wait to die. Otherwise, no one will be able to leave alive. Hence, he decided to go out alone to search for water sources. If after a week, I haven't come back yet, just go ahead with your destiny. Jack climbed over the mountains, experiencing the baptism of rainstorm, through countless hardships, finally saw the lake. After Jack brought the news back, everyone leans on crutches to the lakeside. On the way, they feel like someone is following them. Just as a few people were planning to rush in and subdue him, unexpectedly, it was a girl. He escaped from other concentration camps, wanna join their team, but they can't even feed themselves. After everyone's discussion, still refusing the girl's request, when they come to the river, surprised to find a sheep trapped in the mud beside the lake. This will be the most delicious dinner for everyone. See here, the big guy seems to remember something. Soon he brought back the previous girl. Fortunately, no one raised any objections. Everyone happily eating barbecue, so the girl who claimed to be Lena joined their team. After a brief rest, they continue their journey. As the end of the lake disappears, they discovered the tracks, so they took advantage of the darkness and left the Soviet Union together, arriving at the border of Outer Mongolia. At the moment of crossing the railway track, tattooed men choose to stay here. In his concept, even if he gets caught in the end, in prison, he still has a chance of survival. Faced with the unknown and vast future, the men no longer have the courage to face it, so the other 6 people continue to move forward. According to Jack's instructions, they are going through Tibet, crossing the Himalayas, finally arriving in India. The idea is good, but reality is cruel. On the endless desert Gobi, the scorching sun, always testing everyone's perseverance. The food is still barely solvable, but the water source has become their biggest challenge. Days of rushing and extreme water scarcity let despair linger on everyone's head. Just then, the sound of birds calling from the sky. Where there are birds, there are trees. If there are trees, there will be water sources. Proof of facts. That's right. They quickly discovered a well. Everyone is enjoying it to the fullest. At this moment, fill all the things that can hold water. A group of people continue to depart, but heaven does not intend for them to arrive easily. They encountered another sandstorm. This guy, although everyone was lucky enough to avoid the sandstorm, but the team lost their way. Both water, food are running out, but the desert still cannot be seen at a glance. Soon, Lena couldn't hold on, fall to the ground, unleash the fire on her feet like a companion. Only then did I realize that it had become swollen and deformed under this high temperature of roasting. Lack of water sources is inherently fatal. Lina, who had recovered her strength, comforted everyone and said, however, not long after, he fell again, with regret, forever in the desert. The situation of others is not optimistic either. Stop, only death moves forward. Someone also fell down. Lao Shan ultimately chose to give up. He doesn't want to drag everyone down, but Jack didn't want to leave him behind. The next morning, companion awakened by a snake. Not only was he not afraid, despite the danger chasing after the snake, just as one expected. Where snakes can live there must be water, although it's rare, but it's enough for a few people to lie on the ground and drink until they're satisfied. Subsequently, they found the snake, have a delicious meal of broth with him. Not only did it save the lives of 4 people, more to restore their confidence. Setting foot on the road again, they found a river, revitalize, looking at the snow-covered the Himalayas in the distance. That's the last obstacle to their freedom. Final, they rely on their tenacious perseverance, crossing mountains and ridges, successfully arrived in India, more than 4,000 kilometers throughout the journey. Just like Lao Shan said, survival is protest, living is punishment. That's why Jack relies on his instinct to survive, fulfill one's beliefs, tell people, as long as you have the courage to face difficulties, there's nothing that can't be done.